So I'm going to talk to you about something that some of the speakers here already mentioned. And I think some of you already know, but I'm going to say that ahead of time. I think that in many cases, common knowledge is not always common practice. And I work with a lot of tech, B2B tech companies, global companies, so I know which practices, what do you guys do, really? I see what the majority is doing and what we're not doing. So I'm here to add something to what I see most companies do, okay? All right, so I'm gonna start, I wanna start with a quote. I need a clicker. Dale Carnegie said that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and best sound, and most important sound that that person can hear. And that is very much true. We're B2B businesses, so in essence, we're businesses doing business with other businesses. That's why we're B2B, most of us here. But does the business laugh? Does the business cry? Does the business have struggles? Does the business have challenges? Does the business want to be promoted or want to be bigger than so-and-so other business? No. It's the people. The people within the business that have the ambitions and have the desires and cry and have struggles and want to buy a product that makes their life easier. So I think Hein Guter talked a lot about that the idea is to remember that at the end of the day, it's a person-to-person interaction, even if you are B2B, even if it's a software company, even if you're supposed to be very serious. So what I'm suggesting is, this is 2023, and what worked in 2022 and 2021 is not working as easily this year. We all experienced that. So what I'm suggesting is altering your strategy and putting the P back into B2B and calling it P2P, so you will achieve better results. So what we'll do today is that I'll try to touch a lot of touch points that you have between your campaigns and your target audiences. And I'll try to give examples of how we can put that P back in those campaigns. In many cases, we don't have to stop doing what we're doing today. We just have to add things to it. Now, the P stands for two things, and I'll cover it in a second. But first, if we're talking about people, I want to just say, I just want you to know us. So I'm Gali, and I'm the founder and CEO of Days. And we also have Ilan Amit, who is here. Most of you probably talked to him today, and he's the CRO and COO. And we are a B2B tech marketing agency. We work with various companies. That's who we are. We also have a team, by the way, of 15 people, campaign managers, content writers, amazing people. And the reason I said that is because I want you to understand that the P stands for two things. First of all, it's personalization. I think I don't need to convince anyone that you need to personalize, but I'm still going to give you some proofs and data. And personalization means as customized as possible. And we can talk about segmentations. There's a lot of ways to segment in B2B. Like there's psychographic, and there's a lot of contextual, and there's many ways. But the idea is to be as customized as possible and to talk to your target market. Another thing the P stands for is really personal connection. Because at the end of the day, it's a person-to-person transaction. And until now, what happened is that the personal connection was achieved way at the bottom of the funnel where sales is handing over the interaction. But I'm suggesting that the personal connections should go way up in the funnel where the marketing is still in charge. Not that there's really a shift of hands, but it needs to go way higher in the funnel, the element of the personal connection and the personalization. And that's what I want to talk about today. So let's just start first with the why. There's a lot of research here, by the way. I had to hide some of the slides because I had too much, so I'll cover it quickly. And plus, by the way, you'll all get all the slides of all the speakers, so you'll have everything here and you can look at it later. But if you personalize, and I'm talking about all the data you see here is for B2B, you get, McKinsey says you get companies that personalize get 50% more growth than companies who don't. And Adobe and Forrester say that 57% of B2B customers say that they expect personalized content when discovering a company's product or service. Now, Salesforce say that 84 for B2C, but 83% of customers they want to be treated like a person, not a business, a person. And 72% of businesses expect vendors to personalize engagements. So there is this expectation today. By the way, that expectation is true for all the touch points. You know, customers engage with you with, today on average, 10 platforms. A few years ago, it was 5 to 7. Now it's on average 10 platforms that they engage with you, and they expect a seamless experience, personalized. I want to show you some data on bounce rates, on the difference between not personalized. You have a lower bounce rate when it's basic personalization, and then there is a lower bounce rate when it's deep personalization. Now, we need to understand what does it mean, basic personalization as opposed to deep personalization. There is a difference. And I'm not saying that all companies have all the resources available to have deep personalization always. But even if you have some basic personalization, like Chen Guter showed, calling out your targets in an ad, even that will increase your results. So we will discuss all levels of personalization. Of course, that person to person, one-on-one is the best, but we can't always do that. So let's see. Thing is that there is a shift in B2B behavior. I don't know if, I'm sure all of you noticed that LinkedIn became a bit more personal. Did you notice that your feed is more personal? Now, I'm not sure that's going to stay, by the way, because of the new algorithm changes that LinkedIn is bringing in. But COVID-19 plus the hybrid life has created a shift in where B2B buyers, they want to also show their personal lives. And other people are liking it. So John, who was a former vice chairman of Merrill Lynch, said that what surprised me most was that me being me was more interesting of me being really the head of Merrill Lynch. We also have Sally here, that she's a co-founder of an investment firm, and she talks a lot about gender and women. And I can give you a lot of other examples, but there is a shift because this wasn't popular a few years ago, but now people are talking about themselves, about what's important to them, not only in a business sense, but on who they are. And people want to see who you are, really. So what I want to cover today, really, is I want to discuss a few touch points. All of you are doing that in your marketing. I want to talk about the different channels that you have and how can we take each channel and add some P2P there, personalize and create some personal connection. Some channels were very limited, but we can still do something. And I'll start with SEO, for example, which is, it's pretty limited. We can't do a lot, but we can shift. I still see companies starting with keyword research. We can shift to intent analysis. And of course, we can create dynamic content on our websites. Now, dynamic content on our websites, it's tricky because it could also harm your SEO, so you need to know how you do it. But if you do it well, it will increase the engagement. And if the engagement is better, your rankings are better. So personalization can also benefit your SEO. Plus, Google benefits websites that showcase who the authors are, their real people, their faces, their different, why they're an authority. So that's something that Google favors, websites like that. So if you don't have any sort of personalization, if your SEO strategy, that might be a small thing that you can add. By the way, dynamic content could be something like simple, like when a user comes back to your website, they see something else. And it could also be hyper-personalized, like this example here. You can see I landed into a website and it said, Gali, start your free trial. Which I had to say, I looked into it. It was like, wow, it said my name. So I want to talk a little bit about LinkedIn ads, because for each touch points, I want to say how we can add some personalization. And we will move on to later to outbound marketing and talk about that as well. So for LinkedIn ads, what I see most companies do is this, sponsored ads by the brand page. They sponsor the ads. And what I'm suggesting is to add something that probably most of you are doing, some dynamic ads and message ads. This is a question because it's not always working. But I'm also suggesting you try thought leadership ads. And the reason I'm suggesting it is because it is happening from a profile of one of the senior persons in the company. And people like to follow people. Like if I asked you who would you rather follow, Microsoft or Bill Gates, what would you say? Be honest. Yeah, all answers. So the idea is by using thought leadership ads, what we've seen with, this is from LinkedIn's data, we see a 1.7 higher CTR when we use thought leadership ads than single image ads from the brand. Isn't that interesting? You get better CTR. How many of you are using thought leadership ads right now? Exactly. You don't? Most of you don't. Should. This is what I'm here for. So I'm not going to I don't want to talk a lot about ad copy because, to be honest, Hand Gutter came here and she stole the show. And I knew she was going to do that, by the way, because I talked to her ahead of time. So I'm not going to talk a lot about the actual copy and the content. But the least you should understand is that B2B buyers want a human experience. They want to see an ad and feel the experience. So if I just give you some examples, even just calling out your audience outperform ads that don't call out the audience. Those are examples of ads that perform very well, because you see here, 100 first steps for CIO. This is targeted to a person. It's not talking about features or stuff like that, right? And again, a guide to new to role CSOs. It's talking to a person. I'm sure some of you, well, also Chen Gutter mentioned Walnut. I've seen this. Have you seen these ads? It's hard to not to see it. I just want you to know that they're talking about feelings. They're talking about feelings, and that's why it's working so well, because there is the P element that is missing in most B2B campaigns. Walnut drove 4 times higher conversion rate and lowered cost per conversion by 78%. Now, it's not the only thing that they did. They also had a very good full funnel content strategy, but that was a big success. So I want to talk a little about social media, and we have, by the way, the last speaker of today, it's like a surprise speaker, is going to talk a lot about royal thought leadership. So I don't want to talk about the how. I just want to say that people like to follow people, and what I see most companies do, I'm talking organic now, okay? Organic activity. A lot of you here are content people, and I think what most of you do is that you invest a lot in managing the company page, right? You upload posts to the company page, but how many of you are working with one of the seniors people, or even, the head of R&D or CTO, someone with authority? How many of you are working with their profiles to upload content to gain tractions and customers? Good, few. Because that would probably give you better results. Why? Do you know what the LinkedIn algorithms, by the way, prefer? Company posts or person's posts? Personal. In fact, if you take your phones out and you try to find not a sponsored, an organic post of a company page, it'll be hard. So when it comes to organic activity, thought leadership posts on social media would work better than just brand posts. Now, even if you know that, it's not common practice. 56% of people, of professionals, state that business executives' presence on social media positively influence their purchase decision. So if you see ads of a brand, but then you also see someone working at the company who's senior, that uploading thought leadership posts, that would increase the chances of generating high quality leads. I want to say one more thing that I don't, even people doing thought leadership, I don't see them doing that, which is, it's like a secret weapon for you guys. Like, everyone is talking about ABM, okay? I call it PBM, because for me it's people-based marketing. It's a shift from ABM to PBM. But you have a certain number of people that you are targeting, whether it's based on accounts or something else. What you can do is not only upload posts to your profile, but you can also comment on their posts, which will create a situation in which you are visible to them. They will start noticing you. But how do you do that, really? It looks like, I mean, how do you do that at scale, or how do you really comment to posts of the right people? So there's two ways. The easy way is to use Sales Navigator to upload the list of all of your leads to Sales Navigator, and Sales Navigator will tell you, oh, well, that lead uploaded a post. You should reply and add a comment. And if you add comments to the people who are important to you and comment on their posts, they will start noticing you. You can also do it with an Excel file, just put all the URLs of their activity on LinkedIn, but that's really manual. You should, I would suggest using Sales Navigator to just add comments to people's posts. Of course, people commenting on my posts, that's basic, everyone is doing it. But who is here working strategically, identifying your key people, and making sure that every day you comment on their posts? Raise your hand. You don't, huh? You could use AI, by the way, to increase activity, efficiency. But you know, it depends on, you could also use your content team. This is how Sales Navigator looks like. And you put all your leads, and you just get alerts. You should do that. Now, this is my favorite. If anyone here knows me well, you know that I've been doing like outbound campaigns forever. I think for the last 15 years, ever since I started this company, I started Days. I love outbound. I have no problem with inbound, by the way. I have a lot of respect for inbound. But outbound, that's where my heart is. So I want to talk to you a little bit about if you have this feeling that, oh, outbound is those spammy messages that I get that I ignore, then you need to listen to that, because outbound works when it's done well. What I see most companies do, classic B2B, is either paid outreach through message ads, which it's not working as well, to be honest, or organic outreach, which is not personalized beyond the high first name and title, and it's spammy, and it's just annoying, and then you just close the door to an opportunity. What a P2P strategy for personalized outreach would mean, and here, by the way, this is the place where you have to choose if you want efficiency, so somewhat personalized, or you want it to be fully personalized, and then you actually need an SDR working on those personal messages. But if you want it to be somewhat personalized and still succeed, because it's, you know, at the end of the day, we have limited resources, you could use AI to go over LinkedIn, look at the profile of the person you want to target, find something interesting, and write a message that is personalized based on a post that he wrote or something on his profile. And you can do that at scale, by the way, automatically. That would work a lot better. I'll show an example. Of course, SDR personalization is the best, but it's also time-consuming. I would never, ever suggest that you write a message saying, hey, my name is so-and-so, I am awesome at this and this, do you want to talk? When would be a good time? This is horrible. By the way, it used to work like 10 years ago, right? But for 10 years, it's not working. So you have to start with value. One of the things that I've done a lot in the recent years is create awareness on top of the funnel with outreach, so just sending information. It works very well, by the way, for medical device firms that want to announce different FDA things and contact their people directly and not try to sell. But it also could work well to invite people to an event or to just give them some value, some article, some video that you saw, anything. So if you see people commenting on your posts, you should send them a message. Start building the relationship. Because if they commented on the post, there's a door here. Even if they're not a first connection, you can mention that in the script. And that could also be automized. It could be on scale. Now, and I'll show you examples in a second, by the way, of how it looks when it's personal at scale. With email, it's pretty much the same thing. I usually see newsletter sent from HubSpot or Pardot or Marketo. At best, personalized with high name and based on like a sequence or a behavior that they had. And I'm suggesting a customized email, and I show you how a customized email looks like in a second, which is personal at scale. And you could send emails to anyone, really, but I always say that you need to define your goal, because you can send emails to high-intent audience, which is more bottom of the funnel emails, and you can send more of awareness emails. But if you see people visited your site, and it's easy to see today, you don't even have to increase the cost of your tech stack because there are freemium tools, and there's also some insights from LinkedIn and on HubSpot. You can see that pretty easily, and if you don't know how to, talk to me and I'll show you. But this is an example of tools. There are many tools out there for outbound, personalized at scale, okay? The tool really, all that it does, it scrapes some LinkedIn data, finds a post that you uploaded, that your target uploaded, and writes, AI writes a message on its own. So you can do that at scale. Now I guarantee, and the reason why I can guarantee is because I ran so many outreach campaigns for so many companies from various industries. So I know what works and what doesn't, and this thing works. You can personalize, by the way, on what the company does, on skills, on whatever. I want to show you a simple funnel for outreach. This is the funnel that we use to invite people to this event. By the way, 20% of you here today came because of that funnel. And the reason that I know numbers is because we use promo codes to see who came from where. So it's a very simple funnel, just automated completely. So I apologize, by the way, it was fully automated if you got a message from me. But if it felt personal, good. That was the goal. I can show it a much more complex outreach funnel that involves a lot of different steps. It really depends on your goal and what you're trying to achieve and what resources do you have. Based on that, you should build the flow that suits you best. Now, here's an example of an email that you can get. You can get an email with a GIF. GIF, by the way, they auto-play on emails. And the GIF would say hi and your name, because it's hi first name, really. For whoever you are, you will see your name. You can also put the person's profile picture, logo, whatever, all automated completely. So it's even if you know, and you know, nobody actually wrote this for you, it feels more personal. And so it engages you. It has better open rate, better conversion rates, because people like to see themselves, and it feels different. So you can send someone an email, by the way, that looks like that with their first name, with a gift saying, hey, with a link to something that you want to send them to your website. And once they reach your website, everything will be personalized. They will see their name, their logo on your website, their company name, that you could put it on CTA buttons, you can put it everywhere. So you send a personalized email, and then you bring them to a page on our website that is fully customized to them. And even if they know that it's a machine that did that, it still feels personal. And that's why it's working. What could be customized? By the way, everything. Like, you could put the logo, you could put the name, company name, everything. An example from Salesforce that did a very nice gifting campaign that was personalized. There are many gifting campaigns, not all of them are personalized. What they did is they wanted to invite senior marketing executives to their event, to their conference, and they took their LinkedIn photo and sent it to like a customized bobblehead factory. And they produced bobbleheads by the image that they had on their LinkedIn profile, and they took a photo of that and sent it to the people and say, hey, you can pick it up at the event. Or if you can't come to the event, you can still come take it after a meeting with one of our reps, which is brilliant. It's not, what I'm trying to say, it's not really personal because it was at mass scale, but it felt very personal because the end result for that person is personal. So 31% of Bubblehead prospects scheduled the meeting, and of course the event was huge. So just a little bit, I'm almost done. Just want you to know, not everyone knows that. I'm surprised in many meetings that I go that companies don't know that, but on LinkedIn, if you run LinkedIn ads, you can see which companies engaged with your ads more or less. So if you see companies engage, you know which titles you're targeting within those companies, you can see they engage more. It gives you some idea of how to prioritize your outreach to them. Now, if you know me, I'm obsessed about funnels. I can't end a session without talking about funnels. I have to talk about funnels. So I build funnels. I love that. It's one of my hobbies. Every time I see there's anything with a campaign, all I do is change the funnel, and the campaign is working much better. So I'm going to show you 2 funnels that are working. There's many, but I just selected 2 that I like, and we'll do it fast, okay? So we start with, it could be for hyper-targeting, could start with LinkedIn ads, and you need to introduce new assets once you reached 50%, by the way, to not to have some ad fatigue. And you send people to an ungated page, as Avishai said earlier. Ungated page, always, first interaction. Then, whoever landed on the page is retargeted everywhere to a gated page. Could be any page that is gated. And then, of course, if they pass through the gate, they go to HubSpot. But in parallel, let's put some P2P in here, in this funnel. We take a person, a senior leader in the company, we optimize. You have to make sure that the profile is optimized and it looks professional, okay? And you start sending connection requests to your target audience, to the people you want to target, okay? It's very important. Why? Because you want to start uploading posts, and you want them to see those posts, and you can also use thought leadership ads to spread it even more. So now you have the same, by the way, list of people are seeing your ads everywhere, and they're starting to connect to a person. Now, what I also suggest in parallel, and I know that this is more time consuming, this is like the ideal funnel, okay? Not everyone can do that, but to upload the list of all of your leads, your target accounts to Sales Navigator, and make sure that every time they write a comment, you reply. Someone, that person, that profile replies, or someone on their behalf, so that you get noticed because you're replying to their comments. And then you wait for 2-3 months. You just upload content, replying to their comments. They see your ads for 2-3 months. You do nothing. You don't try to be salesy. You're everywhere. for 2-3 months, okay? And then you send them the bottom of the funnel script that is supposed to say, hey, let's talk. And of course, through LinkedIn and email. This is a funnel that would work. Now, not all of you can do, that's a lot of, that's high on resource, high maintenance, so I want to show you one more funnel and then we're done. The next funnel is really efficient, so it's not heavy on your resources as this one. I would suggest starting with some intent data. Intent data can be very expensive or very cheap. It really depends where you are, but you can get good resources of intent data that are not expensive. And then you send, intent data, by the way, means that those are people who showed intent. They have some higher chances of wanting your product or service. So if we know that they're already at the bottom of the funnel, okay? That's why we can skip all the nurturing that we would otherwise do, and then send them a very personalized message or email. From there to a personalized landing page, retarget them to a page with a form, depending on your goal, of course, and then retarget them, separate the retargeting list. I want them now here on a different retargeting list, and of course, you need to have enough audience. But a different one, and send half of them to lead gen forms, whether it's on LinkedIn or Facebook, and half, again, to the form, the demo page, whatever it is that you want them to, where you want them to convert. That's the fastest, fully automated, by the way. This funnel can be fully automated, so it's easy on your resources. It's not investing as much in nurturing as the other funnel, because we're starting with intent data. So I think this is all I have.